you so much. We are live. Welcome, everybody, to another Door Experience. I've got the man, the myth, the legend, Russ Hedge, on the show with us today. Thanks for being here, Russ.
Thanks, Tim. It's a blessing to be here.
And we've got a kind of a unique and fun experience planned because we're basically jumping right into our normal team meeting that we have on Wednesdays, which you graciously agreed to join. And we're going to get to a little bit of your story in a moment. But as you know, we like to start off our team meetings with shout outs with anyone that we want to just, share gratitude with. And in this case, we like to bring up our values. So I'll pull those up right here. And before we pull on the team, Russ, I was wondering if you wanted to start us off with anyone that you wanted to shout out in your world that's been awesome this week.
Well, I'm going to start off with my beautiful wife, who is amazing every day. She supports me. She lifts me up. She loves me every day, and I'm thankful to God to have her.
I love it. Well, there's a low-hanging fruit. One of the things I respect a lot about you, Russ, is the way that you engage deeply in relationships and the way that you value your marriage all the way through your business process. Now, how many years have you been married now?
It'll be 38 this year.
So if you guys are looking for marriage advice, this is obviously pit stop number one along the way. And I think that like anything that we build that lasts, we'll give you a window into our world here at Door. We like to think of our business and our relationships being built on a set of shared values. And in our case, we've got the 10 C's, and we like to shout these out every week. And so I'm going to pull out some team members in a moment to share shout outs. But I just wanted to give you a shout out, Russ, for a few values that I've seen you put on display in our community, in our world. And one of them is putting relationships first, connection at the very top of our value list. Part of the reason why we like being in collaboration with you, another one of the 10 C's, is that you really do put relationships first. And I've felt that in doing business with you, and it's very inspiring to me. And the other thing is humility. I think that's something that you do really well, is that you have quite an impressive resume. At any given moment, you might be struggling with a little bit extra obstacle than just the average everyday person that's doing business. And yet I never feel that with you. And so I just wanted to say thank you for the way that you exemplify many of these values. Compassion as well, the way you show up for people, consistency. I don't know anyone that goes live 5+ days a week consistently. And this will be what, bonus 6 or 7, just this show here?
I have 6.
Yeah, you have 6. So this will be 7 live streams for you this week.
And let me just say in between all this too, that thank you.
Yeah.
You're a blessing. Life is not always easy, everybody, but it's a perspective and the choices you make every day, and having a wonderful community and people connected to you around you like you, Tim, makes all the difference.
Appreciate that, Russ. Well, let's hear from some others. What do you think? Who should we pick on next?
I think we should pick on Leah next.
Yeah, of course. All right, let's pull Leah in. Leah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us, shout out this week. What's coming to mind? Who's coming to mind?
Yeah, my shout out this week is to Julia Castro. One of our C's, our 10th C, is consistency. And a little tag that we have after that is paying the hourly dues of success. And consistency isn't always glamorous or easy. And I would like to shout out Julia for continuing to be consistent even when it's not easy, or when things kind of happen that can throw you off. So thank you, Julia, for continuing to show up for our team with a positive attitude and continuing to take advantage of things that come your way and trying to grow from them. I very much appreciate you.
You rock, Julia. I'm pulling her all the way in from the Philippines here, so you guys can spot Julia behind the scenes working overseas. What time is it over there right now, Julia?
It's currently 3:37 a.m.
3:37, and Julia's halfway through her workday. So if anyone's complaining about getting up too early, just remember that Julia Castro is waking up the day before our workday to start that workday. Thank you.
I'm deep asleep by that time.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully. I might be still awake when Julia starts her day for the following day. All right, Christina, well, we got you. What about you?
Yeah, so I was thinking of the see connection also. I did a buyer consultation yesterday, and so having the values that our company has, it really established a great connection, and I was able to review them, the values with the clients, and ask them which of these values are most important to you so that we can really focus on these throughout the buying process. And so it just made for like a really great meeting. And we were able to focus. I'm going to be able to take those values that are important to them and carry them through the process. So that's just for our whole team. Like, it's a really great, it's collaboration, it's compassion, it's all of them. And I was able to use it in a really cool way. So I appreciate that that's in our buyer's guide. Thank you for adding that.
Love it. Who do you want to hear from next?
How about Cielo?
Let's do it. Can you guys hear me? Coming through loud and clear. I love it. Let's see. So many people to shout out. Shout out Christina this week. And it is along the lines of embodying a lot of these C's, to be honest. But I want to say, number one, on connection. There is a story where Christine lives in Salem at the moment and is up and down Portland, but she has some clients over in Gladstone, Oregon, and took the time to drive up to meet up with them in person, which is a pretty far drive, but she's putting the relationship first of these clients who have been through a lot in their process so far in the selling experience. And it's not with just these clients, but all of her other clients, and also with the team, is putting connection first, putting the relationships first, putting the people first rather than the actual transaction. And Christina does that really, 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 really well. And that's something that's really hard to teach and also to embody. So huge shout out for Christina for always making sure that the people feel heard, the people feel safe, and the people feel like you're literally in their shoes as their agent. That's really tough to teach. How about you, Aaron?
Thank you. So first and foremost, I feel like I feel more blessed every day with my wife, with my family, and especially I want to shout out the Mills team at Pillar to Post out of Junction City for teamwork. This week they were exemplary in teamwork and grace with me. And I also want to shout out Leah for teamwork and leaders only, because anytime I have an issue that comes up, anytime I don't know what the next step is, I know I can call or text Leah and she'll be right there. So thank you, Leah.
And that Leah rocks. And congratulations to you, Aaron, working through your first pending on the team. Proud of you, buddy. So I appreciate you guys shouting out each other. I think it's an important part of culture that we acknowledge those in our community that are kicking butt. And I do have a few other just gratitudes I wanted to share on the note of this. So as far as stuff coming up for today, we talked about shout outs and on our team, guys. We'll cover some of this offline while we're on the live stream. But I did want to just shout out our team at Place. I put up in the top right here the Place ticker, which is this stock opportunity that we all have a chance to be owners of. And I think it's one of the most unique opportunities that I've been able to provide to an organization, is to actually have a stake in the benefit of the growth of not just Door, but this giant collective network of organizations that we call our Place family. And we get to do that while still being partnered with our brokerage community at Side. And what I'm really excited about is next week, I shared this with the team offline, but we actually have Chris Stewart coming to our office, to this studio in less than 7 days. Russ, we get to have someone almost as cool as you next week, who worked directly with Warren Buffett for years as the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. In that time period when he was CEO, he took that organization from 30,000 agents to over 52,000 agents. Also helping them expand into the other verticals like mortgage and other home services, kind of like what we're doing at Place. And so the fact that we get to have Chris here next week at noon on Tuesday is not something you guys are going to want to miss. That'll be live streamed, and we'll be able to do some live Q&A. So we've also got some other fun days coming up for those that are in the real estate industry and want to see a window into our world. We call the first of every month Inventory Creation Day, where we're looking for off-market deals the first of every month for all of our buyers. And we're excited to be hosting the Chamber of Commerce in just less than a month. Now, Russ, let's turn to your story here, because you and I have known each other for over a decade, off and on at different levels, right? And you've been in this community. I mean, you were born and raised in Salem, right? You've been here all your life. So
Well, I was born in Salem, raised in Oregon City, came back to Salem.
Okay.
And my kids were born and raised in Salem.
So you've, suffice to say, you probably know some people here locally.
Yes.
You might know more people locally than anyone I know. If someone were to ask you the question, who is Russ Hedge? How would you answer that?
Well, it would start off very simply with, number one, I'm a Christ follower. Number two, I'm a husband of a beautiful, gorgeous wife of almost 38 years. I am a father, two amazing children. We have a very musical family. Both my kids are in music. My daughter's a worship pastor, and my son is a professional musician. And I am a friend and a person who loves people. I want to build community. I want to do life with people. And I have a firm belief that we were all created for community. And that's what I'm all about.
I love that. So you've had a curveball, if we're not that it's who you are, but certainly something that's been a huge change in your life has been your health journey.
Right.
And specifically, how long have you been battling cancer?
So I was originally diagnosed 3 years ago, this past summer, and started off. It was shocking to hear that you have cancer, for sure, but it was what they call stage 2A. And it was on my foot, and they thought it was pretty localized. So planned a surgery, thought it was going to go great. I really, after I got through the initial shock and process, I thought, you know what, we got this. I felt comfortable moving forward. They did a test to see if it had traveled during that surgery. I found out that it had gone to my groin. There was actually a tumor in my groin. So it bumped up to 3A, stage 3A, and that was something they had to do treatment for. So I started on immunotherapy and treatments. After about a year or so of that, another surgery, and they got it. And they said, you're cancer free, all is good. And so then about 10 months went by. Through my normal or every quarterly checks, they do MRIs and PET scans. They found out that it had metastasized to my lungs and my brain. So now it was stage 4, and it was back with a vengeance. And so we had to jump back into treatments again. So that's kind of just been the cancer journey itself. Of course, a whole lot of sidelines came with that during the process. The cancer treatment is as hard or sometimes harder on your body than the cancer is. And it shut down a lot of things in my body. So my pancreas, I became a type 1 diabetic. It shut down my thyroid, my adrenal glands. Pretty soon they basically said, okay, this has been good for the cancer, but we need to stop because otherwise you're not going to make it past that. So in a trust God and move forward mode, and believe it or not, with medication and with regular checkups with my doctors and quarterly scans, things have been much better, and cancer has shrunk. And but I think the biggest thing back to the beginning of that journey was my doctors looked at me and said, the most important thing in this journey that will help you the most is your attitude and your perspective on life. Having a positive attitude and perspective is going to mean more than any medication we could give you. So I've stuck to that. And I've truly believed that and trusted God through the process.
Wow. So I mean, you seem unendingly positive, but surely you've had some really tough days
Oh yeah.
in that process. And I know we get to hear from you more regularly than the rest of the community, but for someone, any number of people who might be tuning in or watching live right now, by the way, is if you guys want to comment any questions, we'll open it up for Q&A. I just think it's special that we have your time and have your voice today to be able to tune in on gaining perspective, because adversity is inevitable, right? Like, we know for a fact that if you're going to do life, life's going to happen.
Yep.
And you can't control it all. You can only control how you respond. And most of life, that's what it is, as they say.
Right.
And you wrote a book called Befuddled.
Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose.
Yeah.
And my book coming out here in November is called Life Happens and Then You Choose.
And you really put these mantras to work
Yeah.
quite a bit. So what would you say are, like, if you could let us under the hood of Russ, what would you say have been the hardest moments for you to really keep that positive perspective?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, let me tell everybody watching that, number one, it's okay not to be okay sometimes. There's times when you just need to feel your emotions, and you need to give yourself space to just work through it. And I'm the kind of person that wants to be upbeat and positive like everybody thinks I am all the time, but you just can't all the time. I can tell you, when I was deathly sick and throwing up, and I had rashes and fevers and all kinds of things going on with my body, and organs were shutting down, I was not happy. I wasn't. I mean, people ask me, are you happy all the time? No, I was definitely not happy. But through that all, I maintained a good perspective. And what does that mean? Choosing a good perspective is believing there's still hope, believing that there is a brighter day ahead, there's better things ahead, that God really cares and is watching over you and painfully going through it with you. And that's what I stuck to. And I'm telling you, that has really done me well, because, a friend of mine said this, and I love this quote: I've made it through 100% of my worst days. And so have you. You've made it through 100% of your worst day. If you're here today, if you're alive and breathing, you've made it through 100% of your worst days, which means what? There's hope. There's hope you're going to make it through this worst day too. There's hope that there's better things ahead. And so that's what I live by. And that's how I keep moving. And also, it's given me the opportunity to share, encourage, and inspire other people. And what does that do? That encourages and inspires me. When I have people that message me that say, you're an inspiration to me. I haven't, had a good relationship with my family, but now I'm focused on that because I think that's important, because I'm having health issues too. Or I fell away from God and now I'm coming back to God because of what I've seen in you. Or, I was really down and my systems were doing horrible. But when I was encouraged by you, I went to the doctor and I was doing better because I had a more positive attitude. All of that comes back. That encourages me. That helps me too. So I don't do it to get stuff back, but you, in turn, when you're doing that for others, you get things back. Those things get me through every day.
Amazing. Well, I'm gonna just pick on some comments that are coming through just as we're doing the show today. So Marla asked the question: is it just as easy as choosing joy, or is there something you do to set yourself up for joy? If you could kind of maybe unpack that a little bit, of cancer diagnosis, and then the kind of reminder out of the gates: hey, positivity is going to be critical here. Life's definitely happening. Now you choose. You find yourself in the moment of befuddlement, to use your term.
You don't want to be befuddled.
You don't want to be befuddled. But when you're there, what would be like some replicatable steps that you could recommend?
Well, first of all, let me break out the definitions of easy and simple. It's not easy. So, is it, when the question was, is it as easy as, well, let me tell you, it's not easy. So throw that out the window.
Forget about easy, Marla.
Yeah. Are there some very simple principles? Yes. Can you simply choose to embrace joy? Yes. Now, remember, joy is different than happiness, right? you choose joy. Joy comes, in my opinion, joy comes from God. It's an actual presence, being joyful. And that is part of your perspective in the midst of challenges. But happiness is really kind of an emotion and a feeling. Happiness goes like this all the time. You will be more happy if you're joyful, for sure. And is it as simple as choosing joy? Yes, but not easy, because as people always say, way easier said than done. Oh, absolutely. I was having a struggle choosing joy, happiness, anything when I was extremely sick, high fevers, throwing up, terrible things. I thought I might as well just die. I mean, I didn't want to die, but I'm just thinking it was like that. You were at this point where you're thinking, but I always hold on to life. I hold on to that. In fact, if I can share this, I love the scripture that says in Psalms, it says, it's 118 verse 17 that says, I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. I choose that. I choose life. And people say, well, that's crazy. You can't really choose that. Oh, yes, you can. In fact, some people talk about self-healing.
Mm-hmm.
We alone cannot heal ourselves, but God has created our body so complex that things we do and the way we act and the attitudes we have can have healing effects on our body. Absolutely. And so those are things that are there for everybody. In fact, even the brain, I had a brain tumor on the left side. Thank God it's gone. They got it through radiation. But the truth is, your attitude in your brain rewires your brain. It's a scientific fact that the synapses rewire to look for whatever you're thinking about. So good or bad, right? It's that reticular activator that you're looking, you buy a blue Toyota and you walk out or you drive out on the street and everybody has a blue Toyota.
Yeah.
Because your reticular activator is looking for it. Well, if you are thinking positive thoughts and looking for positive people, it's going to drive you to positive outcomes and positive people.
So get positivity. What I'm hearing you say is one simple tactic is to get positivity on your RAS.
Absolutely.
On your reticular activating system, so that you're attracting and you're manifesting, you're compounding positivity.
Yes.
And there's no shortage of negativity right now to focus on, is there?
Oh my goodness. Well, and stay away from as much negativity as you can, is my opinion.
Yeah. So you almost have to diet negativity when you're facing this kind of adversity.
Yeah. I mean, because if you throw yourself in an environment with lots of negativity, you're going to absorb that. And if you throw yourself in an environment with lots of positivity, you're going to absorb that. Jim Rohn says that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you pick 5 positive people, you're going to bleed positivity. If you pick 5 negative people, you're going to bleed negativity. So you really need to, I shouldn't say bleed, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to put out. So, yeah, you definitely got to think about that. And again, just remember, people give up all the time because it's not easy. Russ, you said it's simple. I've been doing it and it's not happening, right? Well, what would Thomas Edison have done if he had stopped after 1,000 times trying to create the light bulb because he was negative and he was bummed out with life? Well, we'd have no light bulb. Well, at least not from him. And yet he kept on. And what happened? Voila, he figured it out.
Yeah.
So you just can't give up just because it's simple. It's not easy. Keep going. Keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Love it. Well, Mr. Matt Froslin, tuning in from the other side of the mountains over there, says it sounds like Russ has a sweet Raz.
Good.
And Julia says that she can't wait for your book, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. I can't wait either. I'm excited.
When's your release date?
Release date at this point, tentatively, is November 3rd.
November 3rd. All right. Mark your calendars.
Yes.
And I want to get to a few more things, but I also want to make time to answer folks' questions. So we're going to go a little over past 1 today, guys. But I did want to bring up this question that Christina asks. And this is kind of a pivot from, we've talked about, obviously there's the reality of just fighting for your life. I mean, you're doing this every day. You're going through your cancer treatments and then the cascading effects of other, health things that you're having to navigate. And yet you're still working. I mean, you're out here with the rest of us. You're doing podcasts, you're marketing. I see you at chamber events, and you're still talking about turning cold calling into making friends. Seems like how do you still make time to make friends even with the energy deficit?
Well, let me tell you that one thing I've really learned, Christina and everybody, is that you need to take care of yourself. And if you want to keep thriving and doing things, I have learned to eat better. And having cancer and being a type 1 diabetic have really gone a long ways with making me do that, right? I've had to do a lot of that, which has been a good thing. I'm a firm believer that God works all things for the good. So he's taken the negative situations and made it for something good for me. Also getting enough exercise. And you think, wow, you get exercise. Well, I do it to my level, right? I do lots of walking. I do some sit-ups, push-ups, a few weights, just some basic stuff, keep myself in shape, and also getting rest. So yes, I'm out way less than I used to be, though, because physically I'm capable of only really working a couple hours a day, 2 or 3 hours of actual intense work, right?
Yeah.
So what I do is I've learned to focus my time on that and adjust my time. I come here today, so I rest this morning, come here now, and I go home and rest again. I just work it around things. I'm speaking at a couple things, and I'm going to New York to speak. I will rest, do the speaking, rest some more, take it easy on myself, not overdo it. That's how I keep going, because you've got to learn from your situation and what you can actually do, what you can actually accomplish.
Accepting that moving target of limitation.
Right.
That's it sounds like to me like you're talking about radical acceptance here. Now, on the note of your experience in marketing, I mean, you've been doing marketing for a number of organizations for how many years would you say you've worked in marketing or marketing peripheral?
Probably 35 plus years. Yeah.
So 35 plus years, just shy of your 38-year marriage. Christina is asking the question about that mindset shift for those that don't like cold calling, don't want to be associated with cold calling, knowing that there's some need for every business to be out there making new relationships and getting belly to belly with people to have, in our world, real estate conversations.
Right.
What do you feel like is that strategy shift? How do you make that jump from seeing yourself as a cold caller to actually being effective at making friends that ultimately creates business?
Well, let me take one step back, Christina. First of all, you and I should talk, because I'm always happy to help. Number two, 2 different presentations I do for you and for the team a while back. I did the power of perspective.
Yeah.
It takes the power of perspective to do sales and marketing. You have to start with yourself and make sure you're good with yourself. You're good with your attitude and your mindset and where you're going, because that makes all the difference in the world. That part of that information is in between my turn cold calling into making friends. And that presentation I'm doing to a large senior living organization coming up later this month. It is not about sell, sell, sell. They hammer that home all the time. And I'm telling you, sell, sell, sell is not the main goal, because if it is, you're going to get far off track and you're going to get depressed when things don't go the way you want. The whole attitude is getting out there, building relationships, making friends. That's what I call it. I mean, whether you're really true friends or not, but at least you have a good relationship, you build that up. That is an ongoing thing. And we talk about the know, like, and trust factor, right?
Yeah.
Know, like, and trust. It's really a wheel. So this whole process, Christina, starts with your mind and how you're looking at things. Number 2, you're constantly working through this know, like, and trust with people. So what I tell people is, forget about selling. Just start getting around the people that you want to be around, to influence the people that you want in your life that can actually either connect you with others or build, or maybe give you business in the future. Continue to build this community. One friend begets another, one group, another, and you keep going. And I can tell you, I've done it for my 35 plus years. I built such a huge network of people that when I got to the point where I started my own business, what I got was, without even asking anybody for a sale, was, how can I help you? What can I do for you? Because people are already invested in me. And so what I've done is I have changed cold calling into just making friends and into a warm environment.
Mm.
So it's something that, I got to know Tim long ago. We became friends. I saw him start his new business. We re-energized our friendship long before we worked together on business because we were already friends.
Mm.
And so it wasn't a big sell. It was just a, hey, we're friends. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Let's work together.
Yeah, I feel that. And I've experienced that. And it's interesting being on the receiving end of just being a peripheral to your business. And I think that what I take away from what you just shared is it is about how you make people feel. And if someone feels sold to, I mean, that's the last thing that we want, right? Like no one wants to have that business where we're just here to sell. And so, as a reminder to all of those that are in the real estate industry that might be tuning in, I mean, this is a critical time to be coming from contribution in our real estate businesses, where we're offering value every day,
Right.
offering education on market assessment. You don't need to move for it to be valuable for you to know what your place is worth. And for any agent that's not providing that, shout out to our system Brivity that allows us to really provide that on scale at a high level of accuracy for anyone. In fact, I started sending you a market report, Russ, on your place. I don't want you to move though. I want you to keep your house. So if if you guys decide that you want to make a move, I think it's important that we look at rentability if you've got a low interest rate. And a lot of times, our advice for folks that still have homes that are in those 2, 3, 4% interest rates is to try to hold on to them. If you can cash flow it as a rental, sure, we're out of sale, but we'd rather have you build your value through net worth. And so, just to practice what we're preaching right now, I just want to remind our community that any of the door agents are available for complimentary consults. Cielo, Leah, Christina, I'm volunteering all of you guys right now. We have Aaron now over on the other side of the mountains, ready to provide complimentary consults for anyone doing real estate. Now, I did have one other shout out I wanted to give.
Before you do that, can I say one thing? Because I don't want to get too far off this topic. Just one quick thing. I know people are out there that are in sales and marketing, and my niece just recently took on a job that takes a lot of this. And they're like, listen, I have to make a bunch of phone calls. I have to make a bunch of cold phone calls. How do you do that? Because I can't build relationships with them when my business gives me a list of people that I have. And my answer to you is, oh, yes, you can. It is a much quicker process. You have to be able to do that. But let me tell you just a snippet story. And that is when I was here at Oregon State years ago, I worked for the foundation raising money for the college. And what I would do is I would go in and I would actually work to build a relationship in this phone call immediately over being alumni together, over being, having commonality together and doing things together. I had to work with some operators too that would feed me numbers and do things. Well, I learned that their rule was they could only give you one number and then they had to dump you and you had to take all the time to call back in and do it again. Well, that takes a lot of time away from your actual fundraising and time that you have to do that. So what I did is I struck up a conversation, got to know these operators, but guess what? They gave me as many numbers as I wanted because they enjoyed being on the phone talking with me. And so we would talk about life and they'd be feeding me numbers in between. And I'm telling you, you can do it in a short amount of time that way as well. It's just a different process. So come see me about that. But all of this relationship thing can happen even in those circumstances. And I think that's important. So you had another thing to say. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to shout out the business and the business owners that made this podcast space possible before we run out of time. But I'm glad you brought that up because I think as it relates to coming from contribution, I don't want to end the show without figuring out how we can contribute to you, Russ. So to our shared community out there who really cares about you and wants to rally around you in your battle for your health and also just in the value that you provide, what's the best way for people to synergize with you right now at the stage of your life?
You can send your checks and money orders to, well, there is some seriousness to that. There are some things that I do that will add value to me, but it actually will add a lot of value to you as well. So you can see me about that because what I love to do is I love to help and give value to individuals and businesses. I don't just ask for something straight out. I want to be able to give you value. And so there's ways to do that. Go to russhedge.com, by the way, and you can check out all of my, in fact, I think he's going to show that, russhedge.com, and you can check out everything about me, how to connect with me, how to, what services I do, my inspirational speaking, my marketing coaching, my live stream producing. And I would love to connect with you. I love to connect with people. There's actually a calendar link. You can actually schedule time on my calendar. And I would love for you to do that. How you can really, really, truly help me is connect with me and connect with my community. And how do you do that? You can watch my live streams. I have 6 live streams a week, and all of that information is at russhedge.com. You can connect with those. You can comment. You can share them. That is a huge, huge help because that continues to expand my community. And I truly do love people. So I guess that means if you're watching, I love all of you. I do love people. I think God has put me on this earth to love people, encourage, and inspire people. My why or purpose in life is to inspire and encourage all of you to live a purpose-driven life of significance. And I mean that by, I want you to be a world changer, a difference maker, make impact on the world around you, and love people and share life with people, right? And so that's what I'm all about. So if you reciprocate that back to me, that is what I would love more than anything. And that costs nothing, by the way. But if you want to give, there's ways to do that. So
we can find you on your website. You guys can follow Russ on his podcast. You can get on his calendar and get a consult for your business, which I would highly recommend. We had you as a guest speaker at our last vision retreat last year, and I don't think there was a dry eye in the room by the end.
Well, it was that we did have, everybody was laughing and crying. Yes. I mean, I try to be pretty authentic and straightforward. And so I love that. If you want to know more about my cancer journey, by the way, on my website at russhedge.com, there's a tab for that with interviews that I've done. There is also, if you want to learn more about anything I do, there's information there. And my books, all of my books are there. Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, my first book, 4 anthology books, which I wrote, which were #1 on Amazon international bestsellers. I wrote with another group of authors. And then finally, my new book will be there as well. They're all available on Amazon and all that as well. But russhedge.com is a best place to go. And please connect with me.
Russ, I really appreciate your time today and your energy. Do you have any, since I've got you here and I feel like I just don't want to cut this short, do you have any parting encouragement for folks that are finding themselves caught in the negativity diet that seems to be really accessible?
Yeah.
In the news cycle right now, there's plenty to be bummed about.
Yeah.
That's real events happening that are real
Absolutely.
things or real challenges, whether it be individual health challenges, or hyper local challenges, but also national and global challenges, conflict and violence, and all of the things that we just see perpetuating the news cycle right now. For those that find themselves really having a hard time getting into that unconditionally positive mindset and getting around positive people, do you have any parting encouragement or words of wisdom to share on that topic?
Yeah, absolutely. We always talk about next steps and what action steps you could take to make your life better. Well, let me tell you, and let me explain this a little bit. Stay away from the negative news cycle. Stay away from negativity. Now, I don't mean bury your head in the sand. I know about the horrible things that have happened. I have prayed for those people, and it grieves my heart. And I pray for our country and a lot of other things going on. But I don't live in that environment. So I don't live in the news cycle. I don't live in the negative events. So yes, you can know about it. Yes, you can take action on it, but you don't have to live there. That's #1, because your environment is everything. #2, go out and find positive people that will impact your life in a positive way. Now, you might say, hey, I've already got them. Life is great. Great for you. Awesome. That is so good. But if you're struggling, that means you don't have enough positive voices around you. So what you need is a positive community, and really just a couple people will make all the difference in the world. And you have to intentionally seek them out and intentionally go to them. #3, the last thing is positive self-talk. Talk to yourself. because what do we hear from people, especially when you're going through that mode? I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I can't believe this. I'm a failure. I mean, might as well not be around any other negative people because you're handling it all yourself. You're basically dropping your own self confidence and your self image all by yourself. So stop that. You have value. You are created to be a great person and do amazing things. You can do it. Absolutely. I can guarantee you that those things are true. Absolutely. You just have to tell yourself that. Continue to feed yourself positive input, and it will make all the difference in the world. Those 3 steps will completely revolutionize your life.
I don't know if I have anything to add to that, Russ. I got some goosebumps. I hope you all are feeling inspired. I love the energy. I really appreciate your time and your love and your care for our community. You guys heard it here today. Life happens and then you choose. It is all about the power of perspective. Sure, it might be simple, but it's not easy. We're not going to graduate from this as a need. You don't arrive at positivity and then suddenly have to stop dieting. What I'm taking away from this conversation is that now is a better time than any to fast negativity and become a factory of good.
Amen.
If we could be, I mean, what a better time than this to just be personal perpetuators of positivity into culture, into community, where we can be that one. So hopefully you guys are feeling the call to action. If you're surrounded by negative people, by all means, please upgrade your environment. And if nothing else, be that one. Be that positive spark, that point of light to the family members, to the individuals in your community, in your workplace, in your clientele, maybe within your own family, to your kids. Be that one. If Russ can do it, well, we're not all as cool as Russ, but if I can do it, then hopefully you can too. I know you can. I really appreciate the encouragement. We all get to have the power of that choice. Everybody, please join me in giving Russ some love. If you could jump onto his website and subscribe to his podcast channels, that would be great. Please also join me in supporting this studio space is provided by the Head, Hearts, and Boots podcast. Chris Nordike and Brandon Reese.
Chris is great.
They've created a pretty cool space here.
So it's very, very cool.
You haven't. I think Chris is actually making cold calls right now in the room right behind us, and he doesn't know we're talking about him. Maybe he's streaming on here. You haven't seen Chris in a while. Do you have any other shout outs that we should give to our friend Chris?
Well, Chris is a great friend, and we knew each other back before we worked in 2 competing businesses in an industry. But what I did is what I always do, and I just built a friendship with him, and I appreciate him and all the positive things he did. And so I'm thankful for Chris and all that he's doing. If I could say one other thing that I just thought of, that I want to remind everybody, when you go to russhedge.com, there's a free download. That free download is on how to connect with people, basically. But the beautiful thing of it is, besides it's free, it will also trigger and sign you up for my morning emails. And before you say, wait a sec, oh, brother, I don't want another morning email. This is just a positive little piece of information to get your day started right. There's information about how to see my live streams and other stuff down at the bottom, just so you can see what's going on. But the email is just a positive thing. All of that is free. And you can also subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter. And you can do it from that email from my website as well. But if you subscribe to that, you get a nice newsletter every Monday, again, free, but positive information that will help you go a long ways. And I would like to be one of those 5 people that encourages and makes your life better. So let me.
I better see some of you guys taking him up on that. That was an awesome offer. Thank you, Russ, so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And again, guys, I'm your host, Tim Rist. I'm here to help you find your people like Russ that can add some positivity and joy in your day, and ultimately to find your place. That's our vision here at Door, is to help facilitate the discovery of community, legacy, and adventure. We just happen to be working through the vehicle of real estate. If that's a good excuse for us to connect, it's as good an excuse as any. So thanks for joining us today. You may see another live stream coming through later today. I believe we've got Cielo in the office with a lending voice and probably an update on rates and all the real estate jazz. But hopefully you guys were able to take some positivity from today, and we'll see you next time.